So thank you all for attending. First of all, as you already know, today's webinar is about the Huawei SmartKit Migration Director, which is a non-disruptive migration solution from Huawei. Our presenter today is actually has presented in the past as well. If you want to see his previous webinars, please let me know. I will share the links. Mohmmad Kasim, he is a very experienced professional working in Huawei India. He is certified HCIE, certified in storage and cloud. As you already know, HCIE is the highest level of certification in Huawei. He has over 18 years of experience and more than 10 years in Huawei. I thank you for presenting this webinar. Thank you for presenting the previous ones. They have been highly successful because Kasim is a great professional. And I really hope that you will all find this session useful as well. You will learn a lot from it. And if you have any questions, please use the chat box to let us know what questions you have.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Elena, for introducing me to the team here. I welcome everybody and respect your times. You have joined this webinar. I will make it more, presentable or knowledgeable to all of you so that you can take away something which Huawei is doing and contributing in this domain. So our agenda for this webinar is to understand the Huawei Migration Director Toolkit and addressing the non-disruptive migration solution from Huawei. So basically, when we say the non-disruptive migration solution, it has its meaning itself that we don't want to disturb the business while doing the migration from one device to the another device or one type of technology to the another type of technology. Your business data will remain same or intact, or it should not disturb the business during the migration phases. And also today I will make you a little bit understand on the migration planning parts also, how Huawei can help and support this kind of critical task and achieving this professionalism. So we all know that the technical from last couple of years, IT is growing very fast, and this type of migration requirement in the business is becoming quite open, and everybody want migration in a regular manner. So this is the one kind of solution which can support the businesses and customers to migrate the data on the fly without any downtime. Okay, what we'll be learning from this webinar, as I mentioned that we will be ensure making you aware that the toolkit, how our smart toolkit as a software it works, and it maintain the non-disruptivity while doing the migration. And also we will be understanding, because migration is related to the business data, so we need to understand on the risk assessment and the verification part also. And you will also learn in the planning part of in a professional manners how this can be done as a critical activity for any customer. In this webinar also we have included apart from the content, we have included the question and answer session and the forum also included, so later on you can interact it with the forum about this webinar, and then you can get more knowledge or understanding on Huawei solution. Okay, before I go to the content, let me have a quick review for the Huawei at a glance. I think Huawei is a known name to the industry, and as a strength point of view, we are 195k employee strength globally. We are present to 170 plus countries in global region. In Fortune 500, we have achieved number 44 position. I think this is a very good growth from past years, and we are the number 2 in the R&D investments. And the ratio for the R&D is about 54% globally. So this is just a introduction to Huawei as an ICT infrastructure company, what we are in global position point of view. Huawei proposition point of view, we have focused to the support the customer in the industry in terms of connectivity, in terms of providing the intelligences, and making the personalized experience on the device layer, or also we are touching with the digital platforms in the cloud era. As in Huawei, the focus point is the three type of customers: the consumer, carrier, and enterprise businesses, and we have the solutions for addressing all the requirements for the customer in these three domains. So this is just a glance of Huawei, what Huawei is so far. As in stack point of view, as I mentioned, that Huawei is addressing all type of solution requirement in the industry. So bottom line, from the facility point of view to the equipment layer and to the cloud software layer, we have the all the kind of solutions available in Huawei, within Huawei. So now I'm moving to towards the touching the our topic. As I mentioned that our topic is related to IT, so need to understand what IT and cloud era is evolved from last couple of years. The IT is trending very fast, and we have just seen the challenges or changes in our day-to-day life. The IT is addressing our life, our complex life, and solving the complexity of IT. We can see here in this chart, like in 1970s it was like a mainframe kind of networking or the compute which has introduced. In 80s it became the virtualization technology running on the x86 platform servers architecture. In 90s it is still increasing the x86 experiencing to the end user point of view. And then 21st century it has started with the pure virtualization, and we have seen couple of players in the virtualization segment which is addressing the need of compute, need of storage, need of compute and networking parts. And in future everything will be applied on the cloud service kind of environment. So this is the how it is trending from last couple of years. So uh, every industry is now becoming digitization, where they are putting their data or all type of information in digital format. And this digital format is also needing a storage space where your digital information is stored. So it become very very important that how your data is stored on the device and how you are handling that data in the device layer. So our topic is to understand the data first on the storage layer, and then we're making this data transfer during business without interrupting the business. As in migration solution, we can see the migration can happen in the three layers. If I talk about the first layer is the host layer. The host layer has inbuilt the three functions. We can have the volume manager function to migrate the data, or we can have um, our file system layer, which is operating system layer, to migrate the data, or we even can have the application software to migrate the data. So this is called the host layer migration. We also have the network layer migration, which can support from the network to network. The data can transfer from network layer, and it will be copied via some technology. We call it VIS technology. And then the third layer is called the storage layer technology, which is based on the storage to storage migration. So A vendor storage can migrate the data to B storage vendor without interacting the upper layer or without disturbing the other layer. So this is how the data is placed in the hierarchy point of view, or the technical arrangement point of view. If I just talk about what are the component associated in terms of making arrangements, so you can see the topology says that we must have some storage boxes, we must have some switches, we must have some servers as a layer, and then we have the softwareical component, maybe the operating system, then we have the multipathing system, then we have the virtualization layer, and then we have virtualization operating system, and then file system, and then entire stack is from the SAN storage, SAN switch, HBA card, server, physical OS, multipathing. These all things are coming into association while we touching the data on the migration front. So need to understand on this relationship how they are related, how it will work when we are doing the data migration, how we do the risk assessment for each layer, what are the key components to be evaluated while we are touching the migration phase. As a migration, the principle, what we can see here that the topology has the source storage. We can say the source storage where your current data or current data sets are available, and your business is talking to this current storage, the source storage. and don't want to migrate, don't want to disturb the business data, so it need to be seamlessly migrated from here to here. So the possibilities are like we need to have the one dedicated channel for replicating the data from source storage to the target storage. In our solution we call it Huawei storage as a target storage. And this topology, the green color line, it's making the arrangements of redundant, dual redundant path from source storage to target storage to keep the data migration. So during this migration, you can see the green path will be activated, and it will not disturb your the path which is going to host side layer. So that means your host which is communicating to the source storage here, it will still continue accessing the data without disturbing anything in the business point of view. So your orange color path is still live in this topology, and the green path is a path from communicating from storage A, source storage, to the target storage. And then in this arrangement, the whole controls is done by our migration director toolkit. So there is a another component which is called migration director component. It has to be associated on the network, and it has to communicate on the host layer as well as it has to communicate on the source storage and the target storage. So you can see here in this topology, the blue color line, my migration director can talk to the host. Migration director can also talk to the target storage, and it can make this arrangement. So while migrating the data, it can understand what is the situation of the data in source, and it can also understand what is the situation at the target storage, how the sync is completed. And once the sync is completed, it can initiate the switchover path from source storage path to the destination storage or the target storage path. So this path switchover will be taken a decision by migration director, and that's where the magic works. So the migration director talk to the host and make him aware for changing the path. So that's the way our system can seamlessly migrate the data from storage technology to old storage to the new storage, and there is no downtime requirement as such from the host layer. From the preparation point of view, there are two type of migration director can support. We will have the non-disruptive, which is called zero downtime, no downtime scenario, and there is one more possibility, which is like a minimal disruptive migration. So in some cases where some version or some dependencies on the HBA card technology or the different components, that time we can use the minimal disruptive migration. And those which are in under the compatibility list or already uh, communicating to our migration director system, that can be supported to non-disruptive migration. So we can see here we have the two type of migration solution from A to non-disruptive to disruptive. And the steps point of view, it's like analyzing first in the environment, collecting the information, doing the assessment for preparation part of it, and then we are making the task configuration in the migration director, which will take care of understanding of source LUN and the target LUN together. So this is called the task creation process. Once the task is completed, we have to delete the task in the migration director. So these three steps are crucial steps in doing this migration. So the magic here is, during migration we no need to log in any device. So here in this situation, if I just say that I just configure the migration task in the migration director toolkit, so everything will be controlled by migration director. I no need to log in host, I no need to log in source storage, I no need to log in on target storage. Just for verification point, we can log in and see the status of each layer, but ultimately the migration director will ensure that each step is done and verified. After executing the step, it has to be verified also, and then uh, go to the next phase. So this is a very uh, proven technology or proven toolkit which can support migration and control it also during the migration. If anything happen, it can also support to rollback situation. And for the minimal disruptive migration, in some cases where the paths are cannot be switched automatically, that time we have to choose non-disruptive migration. We can just do the mapping from the source and target storage LUN, and do the switchover manually. So that's a minimal, you can say hardly 5 minute or 10-minute task, and then still your business can keep continue working from target storage. So this is the two model. What are the advantages on the migration director as a toolkit? You can see here, um, it's an easy deployment, single click system. We no need to be making so much of complications of multiple script running for host side, multiple script running for storage side. We are not, you know, creating or making any jugglery here. So it's very simple and convenient. Just one toolkit to install, and then uh, manually there is no any command need to run, so you no need no skill set required for command layer. It's just a GUI, the graphic user interface, where you need to create a task and uh, prepare the task and execute the task in the tool itself. The second benefit is because it's a storage technology migration from storage to storage. Like here in this situation, the source storage and the target storage, they will talking in a separate path. So there is migration is very fast compared to the migration from host layer. The another scenario where we have the migration at the host layer kind of environment, the data is actually traveling from source storage reaching to host, and then host need to process the data and transfer it to target storage. So this means that data is traveling in the two path in to the host layer, and host use his CPU and memory to manage that data migration job. So it become you can say overload on the host layer to migrate. So in our situation, because migration director supports the storage to storage migration solution, so source storage and the target storage, they will communicate and they will transfer the data on the storage segment. They will not disturb the host layer. So your data will seamlessly transferring from source storage to target storage as a replication point of view. Once the sync is done, that means both the storage has the same data, same value. That time it can choose the switchover segment, switchover path. And the second beauty is it's a bidirectional data rights. So in the during any stage, you are still fully protected because it's just a path. You can see here, the host is writing the data via new storage. This is a target storage. This is a source storage. So your host in the beginning, it was just writing to the source only. After switch over of the path, it is writing the same data via target storage. So it is giving the IO to target, and target is giving this data back to source. So that means if any write function, the blue color is, you can say, write function. So any write function is happening two times. The write function is happening on target as well as source, and the read is actually coming from source only. So that means at any given point in time, if I wanted to roll back, I can immediately cut off this path and I can restore the original path. My data is still available on source storage, and we can keep continue with the source storage if there is any challenge. So it's a secure migration system. No worries about data level changes or data level issues. So we are protecting fully the migration and reliability, providing the reliability. And the fourth function is the online migration. As I mentioned, that it's not disturbing the end user or not disturbing the application layer. It's not disturbing the service layer. So your services is keep running. There is no disruption for services. So everybody will not come to know whether the data is migrated from source to storage, because in during this situation you can see, um, till the time your data is replicating fully, like from source storage to target storage, if it is fully synchronized apple to apple, bit by bit, once it is done, then the path will be switched over automatically, and your read and write will happen now on the target storage. So this is very seamless technology for the end users. End user will not come to know for this type of disruption or this type of switchover. So it is a seamless migration and it's a proven technology. So with this, I think we got the confidence that this tool can support online migration in any kind of scenario where we have. Okay, the next part is how we can achieve, or from where we can download this toolkit. I think the answer everybody know. This toolkit is available on the our support website. In the support website we can download the, you can directly type in Google also the SmartKit as a Google, and it will landing you to the Huawei support link, and you can download the version. V2R6 version is latest available there, so you can download the migration director toolkit or the SmartKit toolkit first, and then load the migration director as a component to it. So there are two components in it. One is SmartKit itself. The second one is migration director. So in the migration director, you will see the two type, the third party SEN and the Huawei SEN. So both is supported. We can have download the SEN layer for third party to Huawei. Okay, now operations point of view, how the operations are working on the migration director toolkit. First thing is we need to apply the director licenses, migration director license for how many data we wanted to migrate by this toolkit. So this license also need to be applied on the support website itself, or it has to be approved as a PO activity or as a commercial activity. So in which we need to add the storage serial number and the contract number, and then we can get the commercial license for the migration director. And once we have done the migration director, we have to download this package which is called migration director package. We can download it also from the support website. And the installation steps are very simple. And after the just download, you just install it in your system. The key requirement while doing the deployment, as I mentioned in my previous topology, you need to find a system, one Windows system, which can communicate to your host IP and communicate to the storage and source IP, target IP. So that means you need to find one system which has allowed to communicate the host layer and communicate to storage layer. So this need a special kind of port management requirement. If there is a firewall, you can ask your firewall team to open the port, and the matrix is also available what port is required for host layer. If it is like Linux kind of environment, then it is a port number 22 is required, or 23 is required to communicate here. And if it is a storage, that also SSH ports we can open and get it communicated to migration director. So now coming back to the function, after the you install that toolkit, and then you install the migration director on top of it. You just configure the license, and then you are ready with the task creation. So after this job, this part is done. Now there is an option to create the task in the system. Here this is just an example of creating the task in the system. I'm just choosing one example. While we are adding, the next step is obtaining the target storage. Here in this situation, the target storage we are calling about like Huawei target storage. So we are putting his port login details with port number 22 and admin and details. So this is my Huawei storage, target storage. In this example, we are putting his detail and IP details to communicate, and then it will verify the versions, the health status, the the pool information, the migration information, and the environment information, whether it is healthy to take this job online, or if there is any ambiguity, it will stop. So here you can see here, it is proactively checking the license layer also. The license is at the storage layer must have the smart migration and smart virtualization license. So these two licenses are must required at the target storage. If it is not there, then migration will not occur on the target storage. So here in the proactive step itself, we are just verifying the details proactively and checking it, the details in the tool. If it is failed here, that means you need to work out to solve that failure point and go ahead. The next is putting the source storage information. So source storage in this situation may be any storage, EMC, IBM, HP, or any other storage. We can put the template, and we can fill that template and obtain that information directly. So that this template will make us understand what are the LUNs we are choosing for this migration. Maybe in your source storage, you have 100 LUNs already working, but out of those 100 LUN, you are only migrating 5 LUN. So you need to fill the information only for 5 LUN. Similarly, in the storage, the hosts mapping, you have already having some relationship, so that relationship also need to be obtained in this phase. So there is a template. I think this is a easy template where we can just fill up the our storage information, the source storage information, and what are the LUN WWN number, what are the host information need to be created, what are the host WWN number talking in a communication point of view. So these three information we just need to fill up in this template. There is a opt-in template, just template, download it, fill it up, and then upload. So this information, like what is my source storage, what is my LUN WWN number, what is my host WWN number, and what is my how many cluster nodes are there, how many nodes are there in this example. Like we have 5 nodes, so 5 nodes can communicate in this Excel sheet, and it will create automatically in the relationship. So we are not actually going in target storage to configure it. It will be automatically creating the host in the storage layer. So that's the beauty of this tool. It will not it will not ask you as an administrator to log in host layer separately or storage layer separately. So this tool will automatically do this job by itself. Okay, so the next part is uh, after importing function, like you have import the template, it will show you the verification step. So you can verify what is my host information, what is my LUN information in this tool. It will, based on your input, it will show you the entire information, and it will show you how many mappings are there, how many hosts are there, what are the initiators number, how many LUNs we are migrating in this task, and what is the total size we are considering for this migration. So this is very easy and convenient. The tool is understanding based on your input. It will uh, fetch the details and show you for verification here. So here itself you can do some amendment if there is requirement for changing anything, or you can just cross verify, yes, you are adding the right host. Like in this example, this is like one host having the initiator numbers, the already showing here. If you feel that this information is wrong, maybe while you are putting in the previous Excel sheet, you have done some mistake of putting the WWN number wrong. So you can have one chance here to make it correct, make it verified. So this need to be a verification step. In this example, like two hosts are there, 001 and 002. So you can see both the host details here and verify it manually. In the next step, we are adding the host in the migration phase. And as I mentioned that the entire topology is just talking to the 3 layers. I'll just go back to the this page. You can see here in our entire topology, the host is mandatory part, the source storage is mandatory part, and the target storage is mandatory part. So these three information, if you are filling it rightly, correctly, the another fourth component is about your LUN information. So if we have this 4 information correctly captured, we can easily migrate this environment from source storage to target storage. Like in this, it's in this situation, the host 1 and host 2, they are talking to the source storage on yellow color line already. This is like host connection. While we are making the changes and asking this host to communicate via target. So now host will communicate to target on yellow line, orange line you can see here. So in this situation, the migration is happening by the migration director. We are not separately logging into the host layer here, or not separately logging into the storage layer anymore. We are just doing the configuration at the migration director level, which will choose all the information, but ultimately depend upon our input as a mandatory input. If we are putting the wrong input, then definitely the tool will also not accept it. So we should be double sure what is my host and what is the WWN number. As I think if you can see here in this topology, you need to be captured this WWN number before migration. So you need to capture what is the WWN number of host layer, what is the WWN number of storage layer, how this migration will happen. So all this information need to be proactively captured and verified. If any wrong information we are putting, the system will not accept and the migration will fail. So that's a important input while we are doing the migration part of it. So now we are here. After our input, we have verified all the details. We have verified the host here, we have verified the LUN information, we have verified the total capacity to be migrated. So this is a verification step. After this, we accept it, and then we go to the next phase. In the next phase, we are adding the host layer. In the host layer, we are adding all the host SSH detail, the login. If it is like a Linux or AIX, AIX or Solaris or VMware or any system which is require SSH login. You can put those details here, and then it will add the host. So we are adding the host here manually. So this is the task creation because we are putting the task. So we are adding the host layer manually here. It is a first time job, and we can just go ahead, and then we have to choose the switchover mechanism. After adding the host, there is a configuration button. We need to just do the configuration part of it, and we can use the third party multipathing software compatibility checks and then accept it. So now we have the information here, the target storage migration from source to target. So here you can see we have automatically creating the target storage pools. We can have again configuration changes here. It will allow you to choose the LUN configuration detail or mapping configuration detail. You can do the changes manually, but automatically also it will adjust the grouping, the host grouping. Also it will create the pool level information automatically. Like in this example, just showing configuration modification. You can rename what is the pool name, what is the group name, how you can select this one, and you can make it changeable here in this page. Okay, so the next part is configuring the task is what type of switchover we need to do this situation. So we understand the environment, then we can choose the right information, manual switchover or automatic switchover. So this is the selectable parameter. As I mentioned, that migration director has the both mode, the IO switchover manual, which has a minimal disruption, or automatic switchover, which has automatically no downtime, the no downtime kind of mode. So we are just putting the non-disruptive migration takeover and configuring the details here. The another important aspect is the migration rate, the speed of migration. So in principle, if your new storage and the old storage, they are communicating on 16G FC protocol. So you can still you can have this limitation here, highest. So in our situation, the highest is per session, per session it will support 1024 MB per second. That means 1 Gbps per second traffic rate it will support. So accordingly we can choose our configuration here. If we wanted to do the fast migration, we can choose the highest method, and it will start migrating this parameter is not mandatory. We can select it later also. After the job is created, we can select this parameter in the later stage as well. There is a another parameter which you can schedule the migration. I think the task creation is the one step, and the second step is when this task need to run. So in certain point, I think you people are already in the IT domain. You understand that what is my business hours and what is my non-business hours. So in principle, if your business hour is 9 to 5, so no need to run this migration in 9 to 5. Let business take the entire resources. After 9 to 5, that means in the night time you can schedule this migration, and then it will automatically trigger in the night time and start migrating the data from source to target. And as I mentioned, that it is a non-disruptive migration, no impact on the business. So it just making you assurance that in the business time, even your resources are not busy from source storage side, it can safely work in a non-business hours, but downtime is not required. So we can just schedule our values here and make the start time and end time for this migration. Now after the job is created, we just need to review the task, review the task information. So here you can see in this example, we have what is my source storage, what is my target storage, what is my LUN numbers, what are the capacity of these LUNs to be migrated, and where this LUN will be reside on the target. So it is a pool level information. So automatically the next storage will, the pool will be created, and the LUN will also be created by itself. No need to do manual creation of LUN or manual creation of peering, manual monitoring of replication job. No need to do any manual task. It's automatically done by the migration director. So once we are done with the task creation, we can just simply click on finish. Now your task is visible here, and it is ready to click on start. So we have the four steps are here. You can say create a task, edit a task, start a task, or delete a task. So edit is also there. If you have one task which is already created and later on you find that okay there are some changes, you can do this change before starting the task. So the task is ready. Now we can click on start and it will start monitoring the our progress. So here in this situation, when I click the start configuration, you can see it will start showing you the stages: the storage configuration stage, the takeover stage, the migration stage, and the finish stage. So this four stages it will keep monitoring and allow us to monitor the progress. So here in this situation, when I do the start phase, it is asking me to verify or the complete the step. So what it is does the showing you this line is showing you map the source storage to the target storage. So this step is automatically also done by tool, or manually you can also select it because you are touching the live environment, live production environment. So considering that your source storage maybe have 100 LUN and you don't want all 100 LUN to migrate, you are only specific to 5 LUN to migrate. So only those 5 LUN need to be mapped to source storage, to target storage. So this step you still can choose automatic or manual, but it is for double surety you can have this option. You can do verify and create the target storage addition into the source storage and map the LUN to the target storage side. So this step is very critical and crucial step. Once it is done, you can see it is verifying all the details in the bottom line, verifying the remote host, verifying the mapping, verifying the IO path. All these steps are done. Now it is asking the takeover point. Once everything is done, till this time data is still on the source storage. It is still not on the target storage. So now this is a takeover step where we are taking the path switchover. So your host now will write the data to target and target will write the data to source. In the initial stage, host is directly writing on the source. If you remember the previous slide, I'll just go back here. In the previous stage, the host is directly communicating to the source. They are not communicating to the target. So this situation, when you are taking over the path takeover means the host will write the IO to target and target will write the IO to source. So we are changing the path at the host layer. And this changing is also done by migration director. You no need to make login to the host layer and do this manual selection. That's not required. It will be automatically done by Toolkit. So I hope you understand this point is a critical point, and making the task creation is important aspect of understanding the environment first and then selecting the task in a right manner and configuring the right parameters in the task. Once the task is ready, you can follow the steps and then see here. After this creation, you need to verify that the remote LUN are mapped with the target LUN. So this mapping is also need to be verified. Once you verify this one, you can see the LUNs are migrating. Now you can see each LUN level stages also: overall step, overall progress, or LUN level progress. So this can be easily monitored in the LUN level as well as overall. And if in case you wanted to have still a rollback, your still the data is on the source only. Target is not putting any data. The target storage is just bypassing the path. Your data is still on the source storage at this stage. So once it is complete 100%, that means now our data is on the target storage as well as source storage is apple to apple, bit by bit same. Now we can ask host, no need to write on source, just write on the target. So we are just taking it over completely in this stage. So once it is done, that means our migration is successfully completed and your host will keep continue running the target data, not the source data. After completing this job, that means now we are on the finish stage. What does this mean? Now your data is on the target, not on the source. After this time, all your data belong to target. Before this time, the data is belong to both the storage and the cutover or rollback point of view, you still can go back to source storage. So this is the way of stages of different stages of the data while doing the migration in this migration director toolkit. So this is the beauty of this tool. It will do the task by itself at the host side as well as the storage side, and give the easy control and monitoring of the task. So once the task is completed, the second phase is you can have the control on the verification point. After you verify your data and your application, your services, your business is challenges, no any issues, you can delete this task. So because uh, in the takeover step, if I see here, if anything is wrong with the target storage, that means you will come to know from here itself. If your path takeover successfully done, that means everything is stable. This is a crucial step. If in case you have put the wrong information for WWN layer, or something is disturbed during this stage, maybe your SAN switch is down, or maybe some other unknown activity happen which is not in the director toolkit level. So that will happen here itself, and you have the control to roll back. There is no impact in this migration in that stage. But once we completed our migration, that means the path is already switched over to target, as well as data is also switched over to target. That means now data and path both is related to target, no more relation with the source, no more relation. So before finishing, I think it is asking you to remove the mapping from the source and target storage. This is the LUN mapping what we have done. So this means we are cutting over all the path for the source. Now source is not even talking to target at this stage, in this stage. So source become isolated. The source storage will become isolate, and your target will keep continue service for the business. So this stage is like finished and verified. After verification of business, you can have the control point, checkpoints, how you wanted to verify with the business, and on the email confirmation or the business confirmation. Once you are all is set, then you can delete this task. Once the task is deleted, then everything is completed. Okay, so now I move to the secondary aspect. The apart from this, the another knowledge, you can still keep follow the our online web, system. There is a hands-on lab available on the support website. You can apply for Dorado storage or the migration director, labs scenario, and practice on this toolkit. I think I'm done with my part of sharing on technical aspects. Elena, you want to take it up for the remaining
Sh
slides?
Sure. I just want to make sure that the answers we received are answered. We got a question for you. You can check it in the chat box. Is there any best practice or guide for migrating the customer existing chips data to Huawei Dorado V6?
The questions are on chat group.
Yes, I shared it in the chat.
Oh,
We had
okay,
two participants who actually had the same question.
okay, yeah. So I think the question which says that the CIFS relation, it is another type of data which is called NAS related NAS data. So today's topic I prepared for the SAN specific. And for NAS specific, the NAS migration also supported by migration director. So the answer for this question is yes. We have Huawei has the solution for NAS migration as well. The migration director can support NAS migration also.
Okay, we have a new question now in the chat box. Does the speed of
Okay.
migration affect the data integrity?
Yes, the answer is yes. We can. Okay. Uh, Integrity of data is not related to the speed. The answer of your question is you can control the speed of migration, but the integrity of the data is not related to speed. Integrity means you are not actually touching the user data, because data in the SAN level, it's just a block. A block is transferring from one storage to another storage. So you are not doing any integrity disturbance for your data sets. You're copying bit by bit.
Okay, there's one more question I see.
Can we
If,
do migration only for Huawei
yeah,
storage or other OEM? Okay, the answer for this question, can we do migration Huawei storage? Okay, the answer for this question is yes, we can support third-party storage to Huawei migration. This is very well supported. Any third-party storage which is in our compatibility metrics, we can support their online switchover, or if it is not in our compatibility, we can support non-disruptive migration for them. The
Mm.
next question, during the migration with zero downtime, is it mandatory to use UltraPath or can use the native multipathing software? Okay, so for this question, I think the answer is we use native multipathing for migration phase. We are not dependent on the OEM specific multipathing. So we need to have the native multipathing first to do the migration part. And later on, once the stability is there, you can choose the OEM specific multipathing. The next question, if something got wrong during the migration, then can we roll back? I think I answered this point. If something goes wrong, you have the control in the toolkit, you can roll back. This point already I answered.
Okay.
The next was, can I use the tool for NFS? Yes, answer is yes. I think this question also I answered. The NFS is related to NAS migration, so we can use CIFS or NFS. Both we can do using migration director.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you guys have any more questions um, for our presenter? Okay, I see there's one more question.
Okay, so is this the only tool for migration? Okay, I think the answer is migration director is a professional tool, and this will support the migration. The another aspect is, as I mentioned, shown you in our picture, smart migration and smart virtualization are the two options which has migration feature. So you can use that feature also, but that is require a manual intervention, not automatic.
And one more in the chat box.
Okay, in which port we connect the storage system? I think I already answered this point. Port number 22 is for SSH connectivity, so this port need to be communicated with migration director. License
Okay.
is required for migration. Answer is yes. We need a separate license for migration director because it's a capacity based migration. We need to control the capacity of migration from source to target. Requirement to check the migration. Okay, I think the answer for this question, the requirement, it's a prerequisite understanding what are the components you are in your topology. I think in my slide I show you the complete hierarchy starting from host layer to the network layer to the storage layer. So all components including your HBA card, including your multipathing, including your operating system, including your data type, all things need to be pre-checked before migration. So answer this question, I think some people ask this question, so this is requirement. How about the service host of Windows SSH? Okay, so Windows host is not SSH based. There is a command utility kind of interface, or um, internally sessions are created in the Windows system which will communicate on the command line. Will there be a report after migration completed? Yes, the report is there in the migration director, which will show that the migration task is completed successfully without any error. Even some logs are there you can download, and those logs will also verify what are the any bottlenecks or anything faced by migration director toolkit. Okay, any more questions? Do you have any failure with this tool before? Do you have any failures with this tool before? Okay, I think the failure is not the tool. The failure is the input what we feed to the system, right? If we feed the wrong www number of LUN or wrong www number of hosts, so obviously this migration task will not finish successfully. It will give a failures. So this need to be understood correctly, and also there are some dependencies. You need to log into give the login details of host with the root permission. If you don't have a root permission, then especially you will need to ask privileged permission for the account. So this is a requirement, the prerequisite requirement for this. I think I
Okay.
hope all the answers. Any more
Yes,
questions?
I think you answered all the questions. Uh, if you have any more leftover questions, you can still post in the chat, or you can always go to the community and you can share your questions there. Our experts are there to help you and answer. Before we end the session, I would also like to present the two activities. As some of you may already know, we are offering gift cards for every session. Um, in case this is your first time attending one of our webinars, please know that this webinar is provided by the Huawei Enterprise Support Community, which is the official technical community for all Huawei Enterprise products, solutions, and certifications. We have over 420, sorry, we have many registered members, including engineers, experts, customers, partners, and students from all around the world. You are invited to register if you haven't already. You also have an extensive knowledge base that you can learn from. Um, we have, as I've showed you, different collections that you can subscribe to and get access to useful technical content for all levels. And we have also created a special public recognition and reward system for those of you who want to have an active role in this community and want to participate and engage in our activities. You can become an elite user if you think that you can dedicate more time to this community. But you can also use the community to share ask for help posts if you have technical issues in your day-to-day work. Our experts are there to help you, and they provide fast solutions in under 24 hours and for free. I think it's also important to mention. We have high coins, which are the virtual currency of this community, which you can gain by doing certain actions in this community, and that you can later use in the rewards, which is basically the rewards section is like an online shop where you will find different items, and you can use the high coins you have to get certain items from the online shop. If you are interested in our monthly activities and webinars, as I already shared, I will share it again. You have this subscribe page where you can subscribe only to the content that you are interested in. It can be webinars, it can be activities, it's really up to you. Our mission is to make sure that the relevant content gets to you and that you are always informed about the new activities that we have in this community. Just please know that every month we have new webinars, new activities with different rewards, and it's a really satisfying experience if you want to participate and become an active member of this community. Of course, we have also prepared a special activity just for the webinar participants. Kasim, if you can go to the next slide, please. Thank you all for your kind words. By the way, we appreciate it. And thank you, Kasim, of course. But I knew that you will do a great job. I'm not surprised. As I said, if you want to find his previous webinars, please let me know. I will share the links, or you can find them in the webinars collection. Okay, so some of you may know, others may not know this. We have a live Q&A session for every webinar. Basically, there's not much you have to do. You need to go to this activity post, and you need to leave a comment with "I attended this webinar." So basically, you just need to prove that you have actually attended the live webinar. Please leave a comment in the next 10 minutes. And then you can confirm here in the chat box that you left a comment in the community. It's great, but please, so you need to leave a comment with "I attended this webinar" in the community. Okay, so please go to this link here and leave your comments in the next 10 minutes. We will choose 5 users who participated in the live session. We thank you for attending the live session. This is really important as well. Yes, you will have access to the recording of this session. Please keep an eye on the post I shared. Okay, so this is the webinar post I'm mentioning. I will upload the recording there. So if you are interested in the recording, please follow that post, okay? Okay. So this is the first activity we have. You can still comment in the next minutes. You still have time left to comment there. If you want to have another chance at winning, because basically you have two chances at winning, you can also participate in the Q&A session. As I said in the beginning, we have prepared 3 questions for you based on the presented content, of course. And you can answer the 3 questions in a comment below this post. If you answered correctly, you get a chance to win a $20 gift card. So we will show you the 3 questions. I will also update the post and add the questions there. If you want to reply later, you can do it. We will announce the winners next week. So you still have some days left to answer. It doesn't have to be now, but if you want to answer them now, maybe it's better because you might forget later. So as you can see, there are 2 different activities. One is just for those of you who are attending this live webinar. The other one for everyone who answers the following 3 questions correctly. So now please, let's show the 3 questions. And we invite you all to answer them in the community afterwards. So this is the first, a true or false type of question. As I said, don't worry, I will update the post and I will add the questions there as well. So now we are just showing the questions. You don't have to answer here. I think we can move to the next one. This is the second question. It's great that you are answering, but please go answer here. So check the post here in the chat. You need to go there and leave a comment with the answers, not here in the chat box. Okay, so you need to leave a comment in the enterprise support community. The answers that you are sharing here will not be taken into account, just so you know. Okay. And question 3. Okay. Okay, this was like an exercise for you, but you can now go to the community and share your comment there. Please share a comment, the number of the question and the respective answer for each question. Please go there and answer. Don't answer here, okay? So I will say this one last time. Please go to this link I shared in the chat and leave a comment under this post with the correct answers, okay? So in order to participate in the activity, you need to answer there, not here in the chat. Okay, so I invite you all to go and leave your comment there. I wish you all good luck. We will announce the winners next week. Thank you all for attending. Thank you, Kasim, for presenting. If you have, yeah, answering here will not disqualify you, but it will not be taken into account either. So just please make sure to answer in the community. Okay, thank you all for joining. Have a nice day ahead or evening, and stay tuned for more live webinars. If you have any leftover questions, please share them in the Huawei Enterprise Support community and our experts will help you there. So thank you a lot for joining. Goodbye, everyone.